tragedy. Gauteng Education MEC Matume has reaffirmed continuous support for the grief-stricken families.
MEC did indicate that this is tragic for the department and extended his condolences to the families, school communities, and all those that are affected by this. But also, he called for vigilance in the scholar transport community accordingly.
In the same breath, the South African Human Rights Commission has found that deep-rooted institutional weaknesses across multiple government departments have resulted in persistent failures in the Northwest Scholar Transport Program. The Commission undertook a multi-pronged investigation last year following reports about safety failures in the province's Scholar Transport Program. Delivering the findings, Commissioner Nomahlubi Kwinana singled out the Departments of Community Safety and Transport, as well as the Northwest Department of Education, jointly for failing to carry out their responsibilities. The province's Treasury Department was not spared, with Kwinana saying it failed to provide adequate financial oversight.
Weak oversight and enforcement mechanism resulting in non-compliant service providers operating without consequences. Corruption and procurement irregularities, including misrepresentation by service providers and failures in contract management, budgetary constraints and payment failures, including delayed or non-payment of service providers.
We move to the Western Cape, where police say the mass shooting at a Cape Town tavern was linked to extortion. Police continue to search for the gunmen behind the shooting in Marikana Informal Settlement on Saturday. 8 people were killed and 2 others wounded in the extortion hit. Camry Clark has more.
Authorities say unknown gunmen stormed the popular drinking spot in the Marikana Informal Settlement and opened fire on patrons in the early hours of Saturday morning. 8 people, including the owner of the establishment, were targeted. Police say early leads revealed the attack was linked to an extortion racket in the area. Local gangs demanded a protection fee from the owner of the illegal liquor outlet, but she refused to pay. Police spokesperson Andre Trout.
Provincial Serious and Violent Crime Detectives are investigating a mass murder. The suspects fled the scene and they are yet to be arrested. Any person with information is kindly requested to contact Crime Stop on 08600 111.
Cases of murder and attempted murder are under investigation. Camry Clark, Eyewitness News.
Over in the courts, the case against the man accused of killing 2 cousins from Mamelodi has been postponed to March. Relebogile Mabotja is alleged to have shot and killed 21-year-old Baleseng and 22-year-old Tsiamo Moramaga in October last year. He faces 2 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder for shooting another victim who was seen with the girls before they were killed. Relebogile Mabotja has the details.
38-year-old Relebogile Mabotja made a brief appearance in the Mamelodi Magistrates Court this morning. The family of the 2 young women he is accused of killing were present in court, but they refused to speak to the media at length. They did, however, share their frustrations stemming from the postponement of the matter. The state prosecutor says some documents are still outstanding.
Your Worship, currently we are still waiting for the hospital records, the J88 post-mortem reports. The docket is currently with the DPP and we are awaiting instructions from them as well, Your Worship. Currently that is the instructions that we have received.
The matter has been postponed to 19 March for further investigation. Relebogile Mabotja, Eyewitness News.
And Metal Workers Union Numsa says the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is proof that the United States is willing to violate international law to gain access to foreign mineral resources. The trade union is set to march to the U.S. Embassy in Santon on Saturday in solidarity with Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. The pair was captured more than 2 weeks ago during a U.S. military invasion in the capital of Venezuela. While the White House initially claimed the arrests were linked to drug-related offenses, it later acknowledged an interest in taking control of Venezuela's vast oil reserves. Speaking at a media briefing in Johannesburg today, Numsa General Secretary Ivan Jim described U.S. President Donald Trump as a threat to international peace.
We think that he is Adolf Hitler of today. That's why we're calling on the people of the United States to do favor to humanity, to people of the world, by voting Donald Trump out of power.
Gold's trading at $4,662.88 an ounce. The rand's at 16.44 to the dollar, at 22.04 to the pound, at 19.11 to the euro. Brent crude oil's at $63.52 a barrel.
In Bedfordview, there's slow-moving traffic. This is on the N3 northbound between the Galdenes interchange and Gilulis. Also in Kempton Park, slow-moving traffic on Pretoria Road between CR Swart and Plain Road. And look out for those faulty traffic lights in Marlborough at Marlborough Drive and the M1.
A look at your weather. It's a cloudy start to the week in Gauteng, and temperatures are currently peaking at highs between 24 and 25 degrees this afternoon. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour. One learner has succumbed to their injuries in hospital, pushing the death toll of the Scholar Transport crash in Vanderbijl Park to 13.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 1 o'clock, welcome to 7:02 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, on this Monday, the 19th of January. I hope you've all had a wonderful weekend, but I'm not sure if I'm the only one. Is anybody else feeling a little bit on edge and anxious? The number of stories that are going around of missing children, of accidents, of children dying, I am so overwhelmed. Every single time I log on to social media, it is another child that is missing, has disappeared now, possibly their bodies being recovered. And I don't know if anybody else is feeling a little bit anxious. And even though, the things in the US seem far away, they're close to home. There are people on social media already saying World War III is imminent. It is a weird time that we're living in, and I wonder if I'm the only one who is feeling some sense of anxiety of what is going to happen in general. It is a scary time. So wherever you are, whatever you believe in, man, we must pray for our country and stay hopeful that things are going to get better as a whole, and it has to get better for everybody for it to be better. Coming up on the show, I want to find out from all of you, why do you think that some of your New Year's resolutions fail? Why is it that they don't happen in the deadline and the time that you've put through to it? And I know there are many different reasons, but I look forward to hearing from you. And Liesel van der Westhuys is a neuroscience and mental fitness coach, and our dear family member at Prime Media will be joining us, while we also chat then about why so many New Year's resolutions actually fail by February, which is in 10 days' time. So we'll have that conversation and what the brain really needs instead. Movies and what to stream. Adelaide Moyeng will join us for that conversation. Please do send through each and every one of your movies, series, documentary recommendations. Doesn't matter if it's old or new. Let us know, should we watch it or should we not? Our travel feature, Gabby Brondani will be joining us, and in that conversation we are going to be chatting about solo cruises. If you have done so, do let us know what the experience has been like, being a person who can do a solo travel river cruise. And then in the second half of the show, Parenting and Parents, we're going to talk about how important is the teacher-learner relationship. And I hope parents, teachers alike, former teachers, maybe even principals join us. We are going to be joined by 4 guests. Dr. Daniela Pitt, who is the Dean of Matrics at Sahiti, and we'll also be joined by 4 students, one who achieved 9 distinctions, another who achieved 8 distinctions and another who achieved 4 distinctions for that conversation. And maybe as parents, you've observed something about the teacher-learner relationship, or you look back and at your schooling career and realize, the reason that I probably struggled in this subject is because I didn't have a good relationship with that teacher. So we look forward to you in that one. And then we wrap up with The Naked Scientist with Dr. Chris Smith. So get in touch with us, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja.
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
What is the reason that you believe that your New Year's resolutions fail? Why do you think in your own personal capacity that you don't make it? And why is it that some of them fail already by February? Do you think you made these resolutions sort of on a whim? It's something you didn't think about? Or maybe you're somebody who says, I actually switched from this concept of resolutions and I moved on to a different system, which is just around focusing on certain goals. But we do know that many, many people, whether it's changing their eating or starting a new routine, quitting smoking, saving money, many people don't make it, and it could possibly do with how your brain is wired. And in terms of the kinds of resolutions, maybe it is that they are not so realistic. Like if you're unemployed, but you say this year, I'm going to have saved R1 million, it might not be that realistic. Maybe you did not send a save yourself decent deadlines as a build up to the main deadline. Maybe you wanted to do something quite drastic that you were not mentally prepared for. But what are some of the reasons that you believe that your New Year's resolutions fail, and why it is that they can fail as early as February? So I will give an example for myself of why I think many of my New Year's resolutions have failed over the years. And it's something I'm still working on. And it is that sometimes I don't rely on discipline and I operate from a place of what mood I'm in, which is terrible, right? Because you're not always going to feel like doing that thing. But discipline lives outside of how you feel. And I think that is a key reason of why I have failed many of my New Year's resolutions over the years. The second one is fear. And not fear necessarily of just the fear of failing, but also the fear of doing it. Because that also comes with its own things. And maybe that's more of a subconscious fear, the fear of achieving the thing, because then what next? It's a new level of pressure. So if, for example, somebody drops an album and it is fire, everybody's listening to it, it's at the top, right? And now they've achieved this amazing goal. The fear can be, well, now I need to live up to this thing. Now I need to do better. So there is a fear of success as well. But I want to hear from all of you. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 702. Liesel van der Westhuizen, family member of Prime Media, as well as neuroscience and mental fitness coach, hypnotherapist, and endurance athlete, joins us for this conversation. Liesel, Happy New Year. How are you?
Happy New Year. I'm so good. Should I ask what resolutions or goals you've set for yourself?
I can share one, but it's weird because I haven't locked them. But let me say one of the resolutions I've set for myself is to be more present and to learn to actually switch off. Because sometimes I think I'm resting, but I haven't switched off.
And that's the big thing. And now this is where we get to our resolutions, because Setting too many means the brain gets overloaded. It goes into fight and flight mode, and then that's where everything just fails. So these are beautiful resolutions that you set that are meaningful, easy to achieve even on a bad day. And if you rest for 5 minutes or half an hour, you've got to that point of resting, because that's what you set yourself, just to rest and find time to be present.
Did you hear the first part of why I said that I sometimes fail? Now, do you find that that is something that many people struggle with, where the discipline means it's not about whether you feel like it or not, right? And now we succumb to the mood.
That's the thing. But our discipline to keep resolutions is not the discipline we think. Most people believe discipline means pushing harder, being stricter on yourself, forcing yourself to comply. If you're going to force yourself to go to gym every day, it's not possible. If you're working a 5-day, 8-hour, 10-hour shift, plus with transport, you're a mom, you've got to get the kids ready for school, and now you're exhausted and you're forcing yourself to go to gym and you just hate it and your brain burns out. So discipline isn't about force. It's designing a goal that feels safe, that's not judged, so then it also doesn't lead to fear, something that is clear, simple actions and allows you to be kind to yourself. I'm not saying don't set big goals. I'm saying choose a goal that is meaningful, that you can break down and that you can achieve on days that's not possible. So if you've got a full day, you know that being present, allow yourself 5 minutes to be present, or 30 seconds to be present, or 5 minutes to rest, 5 minutes to be present, or depending on what the goal is. So discipline is, it seems like such a negative word because you're forcing yourself to go out there and do that. Let's try to change that word. I'm trying to think what would be a better word. Just consistency.
So I have to then ask a question, Liesl, before I read some of the messages that have come through on our social media where people share why they think their resolutions have failed. I want to take a step back and ask you, are there certain things that we include in resolutions that maybe should not even be there in the first place? And maybe it could be the category of completely unrealistic, or, there are certain things that maybe don't make sense to sit in that category and maybe sit in more of a longer term goal category. Because saying I want to own my house and have a title deed this year, and you haven't even saved the deposit to even get a bond, like, you know what I mean?
And I love that people set those beautiful money goals. But in January, you go, let's get fitter, let's work harder, let's be calmer, let's eat better, let's save money for the house deposit. And that's what you're setting as your goals. But by February, your brain is overloaded and exhausted. So now it's got all these goals it's trying to work through. Now it's in survival mode. And then the first thing that hits is consistency. That gives up. You start to procrastinate. Then the circle of I'm a failure. I didn't hit the first month of saving, or I didn't hit the first month of getting fitter. So it's the cycle, because you set too many big goals and you haven't broken it down into bite size. What does the saving for the house look like? How are you going to manage it? Have you set a budget for yourself? What do you have to give up every month? Is it an extra cup of coffee at the coffee shop? Put that money aside. It's about breaking them down into really doable, smaller, achievable segments so that your brain doesn't get overloaded and feel exhausted.
Okay, so let's look at some of what individuals have said, so that maybe you can also help in terms of the rewording, because I'm so big on language. I'm even reluctant to use the word fail when it comes to New Year's resolutions, because sometimes it's a redirection or just a bit of a setback. And also sometimes people, sometimes you outgrow that particular resolution. So let me read what some people have said so we can maybe just also assist in the language. Tebo on Facebook says, mine failed because of my lack of discipline, inconsistencies, and procrastination. Mpendulo says alcohol. Just one word. Golden says, for my side, it's because of lack of discipline. I did a very stumping thing, and now I'm stupid thing, I think they were trying to say. Now I'm learning the hard way. It's still January, remember, but already I'm going through something. Dinabantu is lack of discipline. Andy Gibson says, run around the block 20 times. The only battle is getting it back under the bed, okay? Jonas says, many of us want end results but cannot be patient with the process. So patience, so many lack of discipline. Mabalani says, I gave up easily. Lisecha says weekend in and weekend out drinking. Stechel says alcohol. Kunedi says lack of discipline. And Robert says inconsistent. So a couple of the same recurring language.
Yes.
Is this language fair to ourselves and is it legitimate?
Let's start with the discipline. Discipline drops when your goal is too big or there's too many goals. And let's use, for example, your discipline is to go to the gym every single day and you've got no recovery time built in. That allows you, because you're so exhausted, you go, I don't want to go anymore because my legs hurt and I don't feel like it. Then the inner critic gets too loud and says, oh, you're a failure because you didn't go to gym yesterday. Life is already overwhelming. So that's the big thing. The discipline isn't the failure. Your brain actually fails because it's exhausted. And that's allowing that inner critic to then go, okay, I'm exhausted. My brain's then exhausted. Mental fitness is exhausted. So you're setting too many big goals. The alcohol one, set yourself if you know that you're going to drink a bottle of wine on the weekend, so okay, this weekend I'm going to drink two-thirds of the bottle of wine. So reduce that consumption into small, even if it's 2.5 glasses you have as opposed to 3 glasses, moderately bringing it down. And then eventually you'll get to that point where you go, okay, I only need 1 glass now to get through the weekend. I only need half a glass. I'm not saying stop drinking at all. I'm saying just reduce it moderately. And the other reason why alcohol is such a big thing that leads to people not getting to that discipline, it lowers your sleep quality, which reduces your discipline. It weakens motivation because it's affecting your brain. It reduces your mental energy that day. So it's okay. Everyone's going through it. I mean, everyone knows what it feels like if you had a glass too many and you're just too lazy to get up to train the next day.
Yes.
So it's okay. It's okay to have the 3 glasses, but then know that the next day you're not going to show up as consistently as you should. Then be kind to yourself. And then set a goal saying, okay, I'm going to drink on the Friday. Saturday night I'm going to drink. Sunday I'll do my run or I'll go to the gym or whatever that goal is. And if your goal is to go to the gym every day and it's your first time, it's your first year of training at a gym, find a gym that you enjoy. Because everyone's at a big chain gym or everyone's running and you don't enjoy it, don't go do something like that. Do something that's enjoyable that gets you moving.
I just had something cross my mind, Liesl, before we go to the voice notes and the lines. I think maybe also, because I realize I haven't done it, we don't give ourselves room for life to happen. So, for example, you might have these goals and then you get into a car accident, you're on recovery for 2 months. And then you're still hard on yourself at the end of the year, measuring against what you decided in January, not considering the fact that you were recovering for 2 months. That became your New Year's resolution, is to recover.
That's such a great point, that recovery. So a lot of people injured, maybe you're training for Comrades and you're injured and your goal was to run the Comrades Marathon, but you're injured just before for Comrades and you can't take part. Now you feel like a failure, but you're not a failure. You just need to redirect your goal. Now you need to look at, how do I recover better and do my rehab? What are my goals now? So reevaluating those goals every 3 months or every month, not every day or every week, every month, because then you can see, okay, this is what I've achieved. Is it doable? No, actually, I can't go to gym 5 days a week. It's not sustainable, but I can do 3. So reevaluating those goals every month or every quarter allows you to adjust and your mind to adjust and go, you know what, it's a safe space. I've set a safe goal. I don't need to feel overwhelmed. I don't need to feel like a failure because I didn't get to the Comrades or I didn't get to the gym 5 days a week. So reevaluating, that's good.
All right, let's go to the lines. Nikki in Vosloorus. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Liv. How are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm okay.
Yes.
This topic, I always set my goals, always set them, but every time something happens, it's also very important that I need to do because I have to look between the two. Okay, which one is very important to do? Should I do this one or that one? And the one that I actually have to do would be the one that's very important and leave the project that I'm busy with. With this year, I've lost it. I don't even think will I ever pick up from the goal that I set with the project because I was busy building rooms. So after the passing of my child, Lebo, I lost just about everything in me. Everything. I don't look forward to anything. When I look at it, I just lose hope. And because I actually built I built the room for him. So I just lost it. I don't know will I be able to.
Nikki, can I just share something with you? You need to give yourself grace. Grief cancels out everything. And I'm sure Liesel here can agree with me. If you are losing a child, the worst loss that a parent can ever go through in their lives, and this applies to grief of somebody losing a parent or a sibling, it can be crippling. It does not count as failing. Please do not feel like you need to pressurize yourself to be motivated. Your priority project is allowing the grief process to happen. And where you can ask for support, please don't even say you've lost motivation. Your energy right now is one day at a time.
Okay. And Nikki, absolutely. I'm just sending you the biggest hugs, and everything you're feeling, anyone that's gone through what you're going through will say that is normal.
Yes.
You can't focus on big goals right now. If it means a smaller goal or it just means a goal of giving yourself space to feel what you feel, that's okay.
Even
Getting
if
more rest, being gentle to yourself.
Yes. Even if the goal is get out of bed and brush my teeth, because that is sufficient. And I'm so sorry for your loss, Nikki. Please be gentle and kind to yourself. And obviously there may be financial implications to the things you need to do. Rope in the help and support that you need to. I very quickly, and thank you for your call, Nikki, want to play the voice notes that we've received. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Hi, good afternoon, Relebogile. I would say number one, it's discipline. Number two, yes, you mentioned the powerful word there called fear. Yeah, we need to learn to overcome fear. Number three is to push for your goals. Set goals and go for it. And number three is organizing our lives according to what we have set in our goals. I've got those three there lined up for you. Thanks, bye.
New resolutions, nah? Yeah, for me, I think it's consistency, it's discipline. Because I don't have that. I don't have discipline. That's why I've ended up saying to myself, no, I'll achieve whatever I want to achieve any time of the year, whether it's March or any time of the year. If I want to do something, then I'll do it. I won't put pressure on myself and say next year I'm going to do this, because I know usually I fail on that. So yeah, it's Churan here from Zola.
Sure. Liesel, final thoughts as we wrap up the conversation.
A final thing is just know that fear doesn't mean the goal is wrong. If you feel that fear of failure, it means the brain feels unsafe. It means break the goal down, because the brain is there to protect you. So the goal feels overwhelming. Break it down into something that's smaller and doable. Make it easy to fit into your lifestyle. And then do one major goal for the year. Don't do 5 or 6. Choose some, and everyone's goals are different. So with Nikki, her goal would be, today I'm getting out of bed to brush my teeth. Where Tsepo's goal would be, today I'm going to run a 5K. It's different for everyone depending on what you're going through in your life. So just be kind to yourself this year.
Liesel, you always have the awesome answers for us. And I love what you said about the fear. It doesn't mean that the goal is wrong. I also remember somebody saying being scared means that you care and it's that important to you. It's not just something you decided to add to your list that means nothing. Liesel van der Westhuizen, where can everybody follow you so they can get all these awesome nuggets?
I know Liesel van der Westhuizen on all the socials at Liesel Online. And if you have a question, if you're struggling with your goal setting, please just pop me a direct message and I'll reply to you.
Thank you so much for your time. It's after 1:30, time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. One learner has succumbed to their injuries in hospital, pushing the death toll of the Scholar Transport crash in Vanderbijl Park to 13. 4 learners sustained critical injuries and have since been hospitalized after a minibus taxi transporting them was struck by a side tipper truck, causing it to veer off the road. Meanwhile, government officials have described today's accident as a tragedy, with the Gauteng government affirming continuous support for the grief-stricken families. We move to the courts, where the presiding judge in the Senzo Mewa trial has made a ruling allowing the state to cross-examine a key defense witness on a statement he made implicating one of the accused. The long-standing trial resumed today, with the defense continuing with its case. It's been almost 12 years since the Bafana Bafana captain was shot at the home of his girlfriend, Singai Kelukumalo. 5 men are being tried for the murder. And staying in the courts, alleged underworld gang boss Nafiz Modak made a brief appearance in the Western Cape High Court today. Modak faces 122 charges and is on trial, along with 14 others, for various crimes related to allegedly operating a criminal enterprise. The matter was postponed today due to one of the defense attorneys being ill. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 2 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this hour in Bedford View, there's an accident seen on the N3 northbound just before the Gilulis interchange, causing about a 30-minute delay all the way from the Galdenes interchange. There's also slow-moving traffic. This is driving through Edenville, heading towards Bedford View, R24 westbound. Between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Douglasdale at Leslie and Douglas Drive. There's also faulty traffic lights in Polshoff at Witkoppen and Main. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
There seems to be an ideological battle between some army generals and the executive. We've been here before. What's going on? Why can't we be aligned?
Whoever who speaks, whether a general or an official of government, needs to understand our foreign policy. And I think Derko will have to come in as a mentor to assist most of our senior officials in government to understand what is our national interest, what is our foreign policy, because everybody's shooting from the hip, but to the detriment of South Africans, because even some of the nations we've vulgarized and bastardized, we don't have the military capacity in case they are to attack us.
Dakota Lochwete, the chairperson of Parliament's Defence Committee.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
In life's most challenging moments of loss, compassion can be your greatest comfort. You shouldn't have to face the financial burden of losing a loved one by yourself. Rest assured, Clientele's funeral plans pay out cash within 24 hours. You can cover up to 13 family members on one plan, ensuring all your loved ones are taken care of, and 3 children are covered at no additional cost. With Clientele, you're not just buying a plan, you're also buying peace of mind. When the time comes, you will need to make important calls with your 200 Rand airtime you will receive when you claim. Plans offer double accidental death cover, as well as transport, grocery and unveiling benefits. Apply today, it's easy. There are no medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
At Checkers, 2026 is better with over 1,500 deals like Lancewood Cheddar or Gouda cheese, 900 grams for $129.99 each. Save 40 Rand. Jacob's Cream or Gold Instant Coffee, 200 or 230 grams for $159.99 each. Save 50 Rand. And Ariel Liquid Detergent 2 litre or capsules, 14 or 30 per pack. Buy any 3 and get the cheapest free. Valid until Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
That's the sound of your business growing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, turn your passion into profit with Capitec Business Banking. Save up to 50% on fees. Get fast credit approvals, personalized support, and Forex for your business. Open your business banking account on our app. Bank on better with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Capitec is an authorized FSP. 46669. T's and C's apply.
702 Movies.
23 minutes to 2 o'clock. Movies and what to stream time with Adelaide Moyeng, who is founder of Movies and Stuff SA. Get your recommendations in 011 883 0702. The WhatsApp line 072 702 702. Old, new movies, all of those options. Do let us know which one you are saying you must watch or don't watch. Adelaide.
Good morning, good afternoon. How are you?
Did you speak to somebody very interesting?
I'm shaking because of who the person is. Yo, I couldn't even sleep, guys. Yo.
And you know what, ne? You know what? I so wanted to do it, but you know me, the conversations I want to have.
Yes.
And I said, nah, fam.
Yeah.
I'll wait my turn.
I'll do the intro, you do the main course.
Please tell them exactly what happened.
We have an exclusive interview with the one and only Will Smith. And we're actually talking to him about his brand new show on Nat Geo, which is actually called Pole to Pole. And it's a show that he's basically dedicated to his late mentor, Dr. Alan Counter, who was actually one of the first. Well, he's interested in Black explorers, but his main thing was to essentially just bring to light what Black explorers have done all over the world. And Will Smith basically gives himself 100 days to travel from the South Pole to the North Pole.
I think I saw a bit of it.
Yeah.
Because I somebody else in the house was watching it, where I saw him busy reaching the South Pole.
Yo.
Is that it? Because I wasn't sure if it was his YouTube series or what.
So, no, he has Welcome to Earth, which is on Nat Geo, but this is a different show, but same premise, where he does essentially do some crazy things. He skis in the South Pole. He milks a venomous tarantula in the Amazon jungle.
Yes, that's the one.
It's like, and half the time you are on edge because it's like, guys, what if Lebelaya Will Smith, like what happens if something happened to this man? But we had a lovely time, and I had an exclusive interview with him, and here's a bit of it. The one thing that I really love the most about Pole to Pole is when you mentioned Dr. Allen, your late mentor, and I did a little bit of research and I saw that he actually has his own project which is called the North Pole Promise, and I just thought about how you connected the dots with that. And I was just wondering, is there a place that he told you about, that he just could not stop talking about? And if you at any point got a chance to go and see that place for yourself, maybe with the show, maybe even with Welcome to Earth, just wondering about that.
Now, Dr. Counter's, big thing was the North Pole. He was very intent on me seeing the North Pole, retracing the steps of Matthew Henson at the North Pole. So that was Dr. Counter's thing. He felt that was an untold story, and he wanted to bring that story to the world, because most people don't know that the first person at the North Pole was a black man,
a Black explorer,
So it was such for me to end the show that way in the North Pole had a lot of personal significance for me also.
With the things that you've been able to do in the show as well, my heart was beating a lot. I was really scared for you. Yeah. How do you mentally prepare yourself for some of the things that you're doing in the show that are just so scary, so daunting as well? Like, I was really worried for you. And in my mind, I just kept thinking, what are you telling yourself, Will, in your mind that I need to get through this? Like, what is the mental preparation for something like that?
Yeah, one of the big discoveries was how important it is to be able to confront fear in order to be happy in this world, right? That there is a direct connection between your capacity for discomfort and your ability to experience beauty. And that was a major, major lesson in training myself to be courageous, to lean into life. Life can be terrifying, but in the same way, it's terrifying to go into a dark cave or to scuba dive under the North Pole. That's terrifying, but it's no more terrifying than it is to open yourself to try to love somebody. Like, it's the same kind of fear, right? And it's like a fear of life. And, I learned how critical it is to be able to be with myself in the storms of my mind and to be able to settle myself in the storms of my mind and not to run from the experience of life, because if you run, you won't be able to enjoy all of the beauty that this place has to offer.
Firstly, congratulations.
Thank you.
I know this is your biggest A-list interview by far, and you are doing beautifully well, and I'm excited for you onwards and upwards. What was the most exciting part of speaking to Will Smith?
I think in the fact that he was really able to give more lessons about the show, even in the small questions that I gave him. I'm going to upload the full interview on my YouTube page, which is Movies and Stuff SA. But he really does have a lot of philosophical answers that really made me rethink life. And I thought it was so funny that you're talking about New Year's resolutions and sticking to them and the fear that you have of maybe not being consistent. And I just thought, wow, this is exactly what we spoke about. Like, he even cracks a couple of jokes where he's just like, apart from how hard life is, we're all going through the same things. We're all going through different struggles at the same time. We're just not communicating those things. And there's like, I've seen the first 3 episodes and it's actually really, really, really brilliant. It's beautifully shot. The landscape shots alone just take your breath away. And again, some of the things that he does made me really scared. I'm thinking, is he for real? Like, it's terrifying.
So I have to be honest.
Yes.
Will Smith and what happened in his previous series on his YouTube channel, where he's going up the Burj Khalifa and all these things.
Yeah.
He inspired me to do my 40 before 40.
Wow.
So I have to do things, even though I'm afraid. Hence, I was jumping all over the place, and I am so for this. And also, what I love is he might have been tired of just doing movies. I feel like he is chasing additional meaning to life. And I love that he's documenting it. So kudos to all of that. All right, let's quickly talk A Night of the Seven Kingdom.
Right. So this is actually from obviously the creators of Game of Thrones, but this is essentially like 89 years before Game of Thrones and like 80 years after House of Dragons. So this is mainly for the fans who really thoroughly enjoy adventure TV shows. And this is something that's a little bit separate from the usual narrative that they give us on your Game of Thrones type shows and House of Dragon. This is basically a night of 7 kingdoms. And it's essentially, like I said, also it's based off of George R.R. Martin's Tale of Dunk and Egg. And essentially, these are just 2 guys who don't really have any purpose to what they're doing currently. It's obviously set in medieval times. And they enter a night tournament to try and find purpose and meaning in what they're trying to do. But what's nice about this compared to all the others is that it's more of you following a character that's trying to develop themselves. So this is more of a tale of me doing my self-improvement in the show. So it's not as hectic and violent and gruesome as what we're used to when it comes to Game of Thrones franchises.
Yes.
This is a little bit more toned down. I would even compare it to A Knight's Tale, the Heath Ledger film, except this is like a show instead of the film. And it's 6 episodes. It came out this morning in South Africa, but it was out last night all over the world. So far, it's been getting amazing reviews as well. And yeah, like I said, it's just something different that they're adding to this universe that they're creating for Game of Thrones fans and House of Dragon fans.
Whenever people say for Game of Thrones fans, I feel like you are setting the bar so high. Oops. And you know what I mean? Because I know they'll say from the creators
They
of
will.
Game of Thrones.
They will never leave it out.
Your expectations are somewhere, ne?
Yes.
And I'll be honest, I didn't even watch the first, what was the spin-off of the first?
House of Dragon.
House of Dragon.
Yes.
And I loved Lord of the Rings and I
Yes.
didn't watch the spin-off. Because, wait, hear me out.
Okay.
I'm so scared of the letdown and the disappointment.
Yeah,
you know
that
what I
last
mean?
season. That last season ripped me apart. It
You
was
see,
sad.
Wabon.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
But you know that you've mentioned, now that you've mentioned Lord of the Rings, actually I wanted to tell you that they are showing it at Ster-Kinekor for $50.
Oh, the throwback thing.
Yes.
I saw.
So if you're into that, please, it's 50 Rand bagiti. I don't know what else to say, guys. Like, I'm going to do it. I'm just trying to find a day of the week where I can go and do it, because when it came out, obviously I was too young to go and see
Yes.
it. But this time I really want to experience it differently.
While you're there, guys, when you go to the Ster-Kinekor website, you can see the upcoming throwbacks. So they'll do,
Yes.
I see First Wives Club is coming
Yes.
up. So if there's something you want to experience at the big screen, I was looking for Zootropolis 2 because it's 7 million rands and I need to save the pennies to go before it leaves the movies.
It got announced this morning as the highest grossing animation of all time this morning.
What?
It's funny that you mentioned that.
I'm going. Okay, the final one you needed to tell us about was Industry, very quickly.
Yes, so Industry, high stakes TV drama. Season 4 actually came out last week. It's usually on Showmax. So the first 3 seasons of Industry is on Showmax currently. And it's essentially about the finance industry and, you know, young, ambitious people that are going into the stock and finance industry. But very high stakes, very intense acting, but the best kind of performance. Very addictive. So if you're watching it, please be careful because you will binge. I would say it's more like your Succession and Billions if
My
you're into
vibe.
that. Then definitely. And yeah, season 4 is looking really cool because I know those who are real fans and have watched season 3 really felt like they had tied it up. But it looks like there's more happening in season 4. And for those who are not familiar, of course, it has a lot of people that we're familiar with. The one guy from Game of Thrones, which is so funny that we're speaking about that as well.
Yes.
I think it's Jon Snow.
Yes.
I'm just forgetting his actual name, but he is also in the show and he's spearheading this as an addition. He does come up in the other seasons, but I think in season 4, he basically gets his own sort of narrative and story where they focus on him as a character. I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but definitely something to get into. Season 4 is finally out.
Seeing some messages that say that documentary by Will Smith is one of the best. Another one saying, nice interview, Adelaide. Well done to you. That's Movies and What to Stream. Make sure you follow on Movies and Stuff SA.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
Why was the mayor of Ekurhuleni, Nkosiphendule Xhakaza, consorting with an alleged murderer on the very night in which he's accused of killing a popular DJ? And what might the mayor know about the murder of the former Ekurhuleni chief auditor Mpho Mafole, who was also allegedly killed by the same security guard?
Mpho Mafole was murdered 3 days after submitting an audit report to the municipality scathing of its conduct and how it had gone about choosing suppliers of the mobile chemical toilets in a 3-year, 1.8 billion rand contract.
Connect the dots. Appreciate your time as always, Sikonati Manjanja.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
There's a song that goes, money can't buy me love. And that's true. But then they told us all you need is love, which anybody with a mortgage will tell you most certainly is not true. Love won't pay your parking tickets or your student loan. It's also needy. It requires effort, availability, constant care. But more importantly, love requires time. And while money can't buy you love, it can certainly free up some of your time. Time to spend on the things you love, with the people you love. And if you're looking, maybe even time to find the one you love. That's why, after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time to do the things you love. And don't you love that about investing? Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
The Dis-Chem Better Rewards program is here, and every time you shop and save, you're also giving back. Each time you swipe, not only are you rewarded, but a percentage of your purchase is donated to the Dis-Chem Foundation to support communities in need. So why wait? Sign up to become a Better Rewards member today and support with every swipe. Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community.
702.
Travel.
And our travel feature for today that is brought to you by Avis, where you can visit avis.co.za to book the Avis 4 for 3 deal today. And of course, T's and C's apply. We are chatting to Gabby Brondani, our travel correspondent. And we are asking if solo traveling on a river cruise is a good idea. And of course, we know Gabby's going to say yes. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 702. Gabby, how are you? Happy Monday.
Good afternoon. Happy Monday. I'm great, thanks. I hope you're good too.
All right, let's talk about river cruises and why it's quite a nice way to explore as a solo traveler.
Yes, so one of the first points, I think probably one of the biggest points for us to touch on is from a safety perspective. And I think one of the biggest hesitations for a lot of people either wanting to travel on their own or planning to travel on their own is the personal safety aspect, particularly when it comes to female travelers who maybe want to do a solo trip, a bit of a solocation. With a river cruise, you've got the crew, you've got fellow passengers with you on the trip, but you also still have that freedom and that flexibility to explore the various destinations on your own or within an organized group doing various excursions if you prefer. Knowing that you're being taken care of by the river cruise crew can be a huge source of comfort and relief, which makes you a lot more relaxed so you can get the most out of your travel experience. So that's one aspect of it.
And are river cruises usually sort of long, I nearly said long term, but like normal cruises where you can be there overnight, or are they usually quick and easy things that you can do?
So there is a bit of both. So one of the biggest differentiators between a normal sea cruise and a river cruise is that river boats are a lot smaller than your cruise ships. So on cruise ships, you've probably got thousands and thousands of people. You would almost get lost in the crowd. Some people love that kind of a holiday. With a river cruise, you're probably one of sometimes tens of people, sometimes only hundreds of people. So it's very, very much smaller, a lot more intimate. And in terms of itineraries, you can do river cruises anywhere from around, I think maybe like 3 or 5 days upwards to a week or 2 weeks, depending on what you prefer. And the principle is the same as your cruise ships. It's just the fact that instead of sailing on the seas, you're enjoying rivers, which is wonderful. Another kind of experience. A lot calmer than the seas. Yes, a very different kind of experience.
And of course, I would imagine any kind of solo travel, including river cruises, are just such a good opportunity to meet new people, get out of your comfort zone as well.
Yes, this is also one of the really great things is that there may be times when you're traveling alone that maybe you do want a bit of companionship. Maybe there are times you want to be alone. You have that choice of if you want to enjoy some alone time or do you want to meet people, mingle a little bit. As we've mentioned, river cruises have a much lower passenger count than your ocean cruise liners. And so it's far less intimidating to meet other people. Plus, you'll also have onboard group activities such as theme nights, which are really fun in creating a close-knit community. And while you solo travel, it can be exhilarating. Experiences like enjoying a glass of wine in a beautiful sunset or enjoying an unforgettable meal at a local restaurant can be somewhat anticlimactic if you're on your own, unless you really want to do a trip on your own. So with your river cruises, you can enjoy these excursions with your fellow passengers, which also creates those shared memories with like-minded people that can sometimes feel a lot more meaningful if that's what you're looking for.
Let's talk about expenses. Do river cruises sort of do the whole all-inclusive thing, or is it something where you need to plan and budget ahead?
So most of your river cruises are all-inclusive, which definitely helps. So it usually includes all of your travel and accommodation. So things like your airport transfers, your daily excursions, where you can pick and choose. You don't have to do all of the excursions. Sometimes those are at a surcharge or at an additional charge. But with river cruises, again, all inclusive, you've got fewer unexpected costs, which also helps you enjoy your holiday more without a big surprise at the end.
Where are one or two that people can consider going to that you would recommend of river cruises?
Ooh, from an international perspective, UniWorld riverboat cruises are probably one of the best and well-known in the world. They've got all across Europe, across various parts of the world. They've even got themed cruises. So if you want to enjoy a little bit of a French river cruise to the various wine regions, they've got things like that. They've got Christmas market-themed river cruises for the end of the year. Something great to check out. From an Africa perspective, there are some stunning river cruises along the Chobe River. So I know the Zambezi Queen Collection, they've got some wonderful river boats. They've got, I know, the Chobe Princesses, which are a little bit smaller river boats, but just as intimate for smaller families if you want to do that kind of thing. So yes, we've got some great options in Africa and abroad.
And would you say that from a cost perspective, it's quite reasonable?
It depends. So I think if you, again, the usual travel tips, if you book as far in advance as you can get some really good deals booking in advance. Again, booking in groups also sometimes gets you better rates. But yes, again, comes down to planning properly. And also if you are able to travel off season, you are able to get better rates.
Gabby Brandani, thank you so much for your time. There you have it. River cruises, a great alternative as a solo traveler. Now, summer's here and the calendar's packed. Weddings, family gatherings, beach trips, vacations, you name it. You've already sorted your plans now. Let Avis sort your ride with the 4 for 3 deal. Book a car for a minimum of 4 days and only pay for 3 plus. Group A bookings get a free upgrade to Group B because you should be traveling in style and not stress. Lock in your booking at avis.co.za today. T's and C's apply.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
At least 11 learners have died following a scholar transport crash in Relebogile Park in the south of Johannesburg this morning. Preliminary information indicates the minibus taxi the learners were traveling in was struck by a side tipper truck, causing it to veer off the road. The area has now been cordoned off as investigators work to piece together what exactly happened. Mongezi Koko reports.
In addition to the 11 fatalities, 5 other learners were seriously injured and have been rushed to nearby medical facilities. The learners are believed to have been on their way to school when the crash occurred, turning a routine morning commute into a scene of tragedy and grief.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
It's the new year, and Peter is still looking for a university.
Why is this so hard?
And now that he's running out of time, he's not looking at the right things.
Wait, I'm not?
You see, where most universities sell you on what you'll do at university, Emrys focuses on what you'll be able to do when you leave university.
Well, that changes everything.
With a high-performance tertiary education from Emrys, you'll be able to make a mark in the working world from day one.
And I can still register?
Yes. Register today at emrys.ac.za. Emrys is an educational brand of the Independent Institute of Education.
To live wealthier, you need to be able to grow your assets. At Standard Bank Private, you get a team of internationally acclaimed financial experts to advise you on local and global investment strategies. Plus, being with a leader in home loans, you can start expanding your property portfolio. So, come live wealthier with Africa's best private bank. Apply online at standardbank.co.za. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The Naked Scientist is coming up in the next hour of the show, so get your science-related questions in early, 072-702-1702, and then parenting and parents. It's 2 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Mikey Malapo. Police have opened a case of culpable homicide following the fatal scholar transport crash that has claimed the lives of 13 learners in Relebogile Park in the south of Johannesburg. Investigators confirmed that both the minibus taxi driver and the driver of the side tipper truck are under investigation, though no arrests have yet been made. The development comes as forensic teams conclude their work at the scene and shift focus to accountability and possible negligence. Mungezi Koko is at the scene.
This stretch of road remains sealed off with police tape as detectives piece together the final moments before the collision. A crash that has left a community traumatized and families grappling with loss. Police say a victim was found crushed beneath the minibus taxi, while another learner later died in hospital, taking the death toll to 13. Spokesperson Mavela Masondo.
I think that will help us great in our investigation. As for now, it's still early to confirm that how far are we with the investigation.
But both drivers survived the crash and will be formally questioned as part of the culpable homicide investigation, with 4 learners still in hospital in serious condition. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News, Fanabale Park.
Meanwhile, the South African Human Rights Commission has found that deep-rooted institutional weaknesses across multiple government departments have resulted in persistent failures in the Northwest Scholar Transport Program. The Commission undertook a multi-pronged investigation last year following reports about safety failures in the province's Scholar Transport Program. Delivering the findings, Commissioner Nomahlubi Kwinana singled out the Departments of Community Safety and Transport, as well as the Northwest Education Department jointly for failing to carry out their responsibilities. The province's Treasury Department was not spared, with Kwinana saying it failed to provide adequate financial oversight.
Weak oversight and enforcement mechanism resulting in non-compliant service providers operating without consequences. Corruption and procurement irregularities, including misrepresentation by service providers and failures in contract management. Budgetary constraints and payment failures, including delayed or non-payment of service providers.
We move to the courts, where the presiding judge in the Senzo Meyiwa trial has made a ruling allowing the state to cross-examine a key defense witness on a statement he made implicating one of the accused. The long-standing trial resumed today, with the defense continuing with its case. It's been almost 12 years since the Bafana Bafana captain was shot at the home of his girlfriend Singai Kelukumalo. 5 men are being tried for the murder. Khomotso Modise has more.
According to state witness Constable Sizwe Zungu, the accused had gathered at the Basuto hostel in the bedroom of a man referred to as Gwabini just before going to murder Senzo Meyiwa, and then they rushed back into the room moments after. Sfiso Gwabini Zungu is one of the defense's key witnesses, and he's distanced himself from the version given by Sizwe Zungu, who's also his relative, calling it pure lies. Sfiso Zungu has also denied the details in a statement that he signed in which he implicates one of the accused, Bongani Ndanzi. He insists he was assaulted by police to make the statement. The defense has objected to Zungu being cross-examined on that statement, but after initially agreeing with the defense, today Judge Ratamu Khatleng handed down a ruling in favor of the state.
Now I'm saying I misdirected myself in having thought that it is about the statement. It is not about the statement. It is about the evidence.
Zungu is now being cross-examined on the contents of that statement. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
Staying in the courts in the Western Cape, alleged underworld gang boss Nafiz Modak made a brief appearance in the Western Cape High Court today. Modak faces 122 charges and is on trial, along with 14 others, for various crimes related to allegedly operating a criminal enterprise. The matter was postponed today due to one of the defense attorneys being ill. Carlo Peterson has more.
Nafiz Modak's lawyer, Advocate Bashir Sibda, was due to re-examine Modak today after the state closed its case in November last year. However, the matter was yet again delayed after the court heard defense attorney Advocate Pauline Andrews was ill and being treated in hospital. Andrews' colleague, Advocate Burger Brandt, explained the situation.
We've been informed that she has been admitted to hospital. We're not sure why, we're not sure when she's going to be released from hospital. I confirmed this morning that it's currently still the situation.
Judge Rabatini postponed the matter until Monday next week for Andrews to be present. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News, Western Cape High Court.
And France and the UK are considering banning children from using social media. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer says more needs to be done to protect children on social media, and at the same time, French President Emmanuel Macron has championed one bill. Experts are, however, still locked in a debate over the effectiveness of the move, with some warning that action needs to be taken to tackle deteriorating mental health among young people, and others saying evidence is inconclusive and want a nuanced approach. Last month, Australia became the first nation to prohibit people under the age of 16 from using social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Gold's trading at $4,663.15 an ounce. The rand at 16.47 to the dollar, at 22.09 to the pound, at 19.15 to the euro. Brent crude oils at $63.71 a barrel.
In Bedfordview, there's an accident seen on the N3 northbound before the Kilulis interchange, causing about a 20-minute delay all the way from the Geldenes interchange. As a result, there's also slow-moving traffic. This is in the Edenvale area heading towards Bedfordview, R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Kilulis interchange.
A look at your weather. It's a cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today, and temperatures are peaking at highs between 24 and 26 degrees. The top story in Eyewitness News this hour: police have opened a case of culpable homicide following the fatal scholar transport crash that has claimed the lives of 13 learners in Vanderbijl Park in the south of Johannesburg.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. And we're going to be jumping into our parenting and parents feature as we talk about the importance of the teacher and learner relationship. I'd love to hear from all of you, especially from your past experiences. How did that affect your studies and the subjects you actually did well at? We'll be joined by Dean of Matrics from Saheti from this conversation, as well as 3 stellar students who are in studio with us for this conversation. We wrap up with the Naked Scientist as Dr. Chris Smith answers all of your science-related questions. So get in touch with us and you can get your questions in early. 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Parenting and Parents
on 702.
Parenting and Parents time on 702. How important is the teacher-learner relationship? I want to hear from all of you, but I can tell you right now, at the age of 40, I still remember the teachers that made the biggest impact on my life. And I'm not just talking about, well, they taught me so well, I got a 90% in the subject. The ones that did more than just teach me the subject. The ones that actually even changed the trajectory of my life and switched how I think. But joining us in studio for this conversation, and we take your questions and comments on 011 883 0702 in the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We are joined by Dr. Daniela Pitt, Dean of Matrics from Saheti. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you very much for having me.
And then we also have stellar students from Saheti with an average of 87% and a full house of 9 distinctions. We have Anthea Boitelis. How do I pronounce that surname?
It's Boitelis.
Okay, I was close.
No, you were close, very close.
Boitelis. Anthea with 9 distinctions. We also have receiving an average of 89%, a full house of 8 distinctions. Eleni Kruger. How are you, Eleni?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Or is it Kruger?
Kruger, according to my dad.
There we go. It's Kruger. There we go. And then with 4 distinctions. Ngozika Nadi. How are you doing?
Good, thanks, and you?
I am doing well. And I have to ask, before I go to you, Doctor, I'm going to start with you, Anthea. Did you go into your exams knowing that you're going to have full house distinctions? Because I had peers who knew before, like, I got this, I'm getting 9 distinctions. Did you know?
I'm Eleni, but I'm
sorry, yes,
sorry,
my apologies. Yes, for your 9 distinctions, 8 distinctions, Eleni. I'm going to start with you.
I think I was hopeful. I was definitely feeling motivated to go in there and give it my absolute all. Saying that I would get the full house would be a bit of a reach, but it was definitely the hope, and I went in confident in my prep from all my teachers in the school that hopefully that would be the outcome.
Okay, then the real Anthea.
Yes.
With the 9 distinctions. Did you go in knowing you're going to get 9?
I mean, I did work really hard. I put in a lot of effort. I didn't go in the exam like completely knowing I'm going to get 9 distinctions.
Yes.
But I was confident in myself and my ability. So I was hoping, and in the end it did come as 9 distinctions. So I was really happy.
Ngozika, on your side, did you say, I'm definitely going to come out with a minimum of 4 and I got it?
Yeah, because the subjects I did get my distinctions for were like my focus subjects, if I can say that. So, yeah, I kind of expected to have at least 3 or 4 distinctions.
Now, the reason I asked this question, and I'm going to come to you, Doctor, is that I find that often the young ladies are the ones who underestimate themselves but possibly perform better. From your experience, especially with the big conversation around girls and boys and who's being left behind, do you find that the ladies' confidence actually is below how they perform, or the other way around? Do you see a difference at all?
I think it depends on the environment. At Saheti, we are a co-ed school. So from the tiniest time when they started school, they're always used to having boys around them.
Yes.
And I do think that it strengthens both genders because they learn to work with each other. And the girls, and particularly these young ladies that we've got in studio today, are ladies who in fact have created their own space, developed a strong voice, and I don't think that anybody is actually going to stand in their way.
Yes.
Any one of them.
Yes.
But they don't lack confidence. I think that they've got a lot of foresight and a lot of determination, and they did set goals for themselves. They did sometimes get fearful, as most matriculants are, because we don't know what is going to happen.
Yes.
But they just kept going and following all the teachers and listening to them, and a great sense of camaraderie in the group. And I think that these are important issues for them.
So let's then talk about the learner-teacher relationship, and maybe we can start on the part of what is a teacher's actual main job because I think many parents have big expectations where it actually is not even the teacher's job to be doing the things that parents might expect.
So a teacher's job, I'd like to equate that a teacher is really a coach rather than a teacher, because it goes way beyond a curriculum. And particularly when the kids are in matric, they've got to be able to work long hours, maybe stressful moments. They might be going through something on their own. And so a teacher's like a coach. And so you've got to tap into your group. You've got to see what makes them tick, keep them motivated. And even when they have a downtime, you've got to be able to keep the system going, being positive, most importantly. So I think that a teacher's role has become, over the years, even more important because, and I think at COVID, I know that this sounds like an awful cliche, but I think that COVID changed the way that teachers liaise with their pupils because the hours are a lot more extended. There's facility to be able to communicate with them over lengthier times. And they feel very comfortable doing so. And I think that the teacher's role is really as a supportive role, always just guiding and showing that there is a way forward, irrespective of what happens.
I'm not sure what the system is like now, but I know when I was in school and my brothers were in school, we had teachers that would also point out, maybe they'd ask you to stay behind and say, I've noticed you've been quiet the past 2 weeks, is everything okay? But obviously with the rules and the laws kind of getting to where they are, do you think teachers still feel they have the room to have those types of conversations? Has it become more strict, or are teachers kind of holding back because trying to keep boundaries?
So boundaries is a big thing in education, and so it should be, because children have to be protected. I think that what schools have done, and certainly what we have done, is that we've put measures in place so that we have an educational psychologist, we have a grade controller, the role that I, in fact, had at the school. We've got 2 other co-directors who would, in fact, have worked with me. There's always a space. And I think that what has happened is that the children themselves, the group themselves, have become far more proactive. If they feel that somebody is in need, they will always find somebody to go to say, you know, Mary, I can use Mary because we don't have a Mary. Okay. Mary is struggling at the moment.
Yes.
We need to tap in. And our educational psychologist is absolutely astounding because he's always available for everybody.
I need to ask Eleni, in your view, now that you've sort of reached the end of this part of your journey, when you look back, what would you say is the one quality that you appreciated from a teacher?
I definitely appreciated their support, and I think people underestimate how much having someone there to walk this journey with you is. I mean, there were a few moments where looking at the work from a distance, it seemed intimidating. There were many due dates, as I can definitely recall, but having a teacher that would spend evenings, weekends, afternoons, mornings, any time of day, just almost holding our hands and guiding us through that process. If we were stressed, we could talk to them, and just having a teacher that really understood what we were going through really helped and made us feel a lot more human, a lot more accepted and ready to take on the next task.
I'm going to ask the same question of you, Anthea, and maybe the part where you take 9 subjects, which you really didn't have to, but yes, you chose the 9 subjects. What is the quality that for you really stood out from a solid teacher?
So for me, I feel like a lot of the teachers at Tahiti kept me grounded, and they also kept me motivated to carry on and always be motivated to not give up, especially because I took AP Math, and at a stage I did.
Sorry, help me. What is AP Math?
It's further studies maths.
Is it like advanced math?
Yes.
It is.
Okay.
So,
I always need to refer back. Listen, additional maths is no joke.
Yeah.
So you guys do statistics and probabilities and girl, respect.
So I wanted to drop that at a stage because I had a lot of pressure on myself, and then my teacher, Mr. Muka, pushed me to carry it on, and then in the end that was actually one of my distinctions.
Girl! Look at that!
So I really think that a lot of the teachers at Tahiti really motivated us to carry on even at the most difficult times. They really helped us and made us feel like we are in a community and at home and all going through it together.
Muzika, on your side, what are those values and things that you really just appreciated from a teacher?
For me, it was definitely the encouragement I got from all of the staff at Tahiti. An example I can share is my science teacher, Miss Orchison. After school, when I spent late hours studying, she'd get me 3-minute noodles, is it? Yeah, 3-minute noodles and hot chocolate. And, she'd always be there for me. All of the teachers at Tahiti are always a text message away, a Teams chat away. So the support and encouragement that the teachers at Tahiti give is what kept me going and what I appreciate.
And that really is the above and beyond. Doctor, just from your side, when you go through the process, whether it's interviewing or looking for different teachers, there are certain box ticking exercise. Obviously, you got to check qualifications and all of those things. But what are the 1 or 2 questions that you do ask that make sure that the school remains with a group of teachers that maintain the standard that you expect of them, especially with creating the kind of environment that's going to cultivate not just the part of, well, you passed and that's it, but the part of looking out for a child's well-being, understanding that it's going to affect how they perform?
So there are two factors that I think are very important in the way that we ask those interviews. The person has to be invested in a family. Because our school is family-centered, we know that the commitment has to be way and beyond. And particularly the teachers that our pupils are talking about, and there are many more, it's those who take an interest in the pupils, who see them on a human level, and that the teachers themselves have to have humanity, have to have empathy, have to be humane, have to understand, and most importantly, they have to be flexible because they're working under incredible pressure. All teachers today work under pressure, and the pupils themselves are under pressure, so they're the ones who have to be the bar that keeps everything tempered and directioned.
Let's talk about the role of now parents in helping this relationship. I'm a parent, fortunately not yet at the stage. I'm still, dealing with creche level where they still send pictures to us every day. I'm sure your teachers don't send pictures of you guys every day to say, look how well they did in mathematics today, and it's nap time. But at this age group in particular, because we know from grade 10 to matric, those are really, really critical times. What are some of the things that you really advise parents on to help that relationship? Because parents can also be problematic if, let's say, there's a challenge and now my child would never, my son would never, and it's like, your child's being my child's an angel and Lenny is blah, blah, blah. How do you deal with that, and what do you say to parents to also give teachers room to do their job?
So I think it's quite important that there has to be an open communication between the parents and the teachers, and us and the pupils.
Yes.
So we have quite a lot of touch-based meetings with parents to keep them informed, so that they are not bombarding the pupils themselves. The matriculants are busy; they cannot be asking, "What did you do today? How many times? When is your task due?" We keep them informed, and I think that that's important. And I do believe that any problem that is brought to the school, we listen to all viewpoints, and we accommodate wherever we can, and we take action wherever we can. But most importantly, sometimes there is a fear factor in a parent who, in fact, has high ambitions for their child, and sometimes we just need to lay the path open. But all of this can only work if there's an incredible trust with the school, because it's like family members. You've got to trust them.
Yes.
And if you trust them and you warn everybody that perhaps things are not always going to go smoothly, but it's what you do with those moments when they don't go smoothly. Because at the end, it all pans out. And our philosophy is bring home the best you can, whatever that is, whether it's 40% or 96%, it doesn't matter. And we can do it together.
How has the dawn of cell phones and the accessibility actually changed the the teacher-learner dynamic? I come from an era where there were no cell phones, and even when there were, it was just calls or SMS, and you might have been not that excited to open your massive Alcatel. But how has that changed, and what has the school chosen to go with in terms of policies that allows you to have matriculants that are, getting 8-9 distinctions?
So the research is I don't need to go into it. The research is huge. And I think it's pointing in the direction that mobile phones are problematic in a classroom. So we have when this group was at school, the philosophy that kids hand in their phones. We've gone one stage further, where we are saying that phones are going to be locked. It's not a ban. It's just teaching pupils, in fact, to monitor their phone usage. So at the moment, there aren't any phones in the classroom unless a teacher needs it for a particular lesson. If a teacher needs it, we've got locks that they can unlock it. I do think that, the research shows that when you first stop the phones, people become apprehensive. But I have to say, when I'm looking at my ex-matriculants around this table here, I don't think phones were ever a problem in the classroom.
Okay, I love to hear that. We've got a voice note on 072 702 1702.
Good afternoon, Lebogile and the 702 listeners. For me, the teachers who absolutely saved my life, or when I say saved my life, they did. The head of Department of Afrikaans and English at Dawnview High School, matric year of 1989, Mrs. E. Cummins and Mr. Piet Nordia. I just want to say that if you're listening, or anyone in your family is listening, thank you. You really, you changed the trajectory of my life. Your kindness will never be forgotten.
How wonderful to hear the importance and impact of our teachers on our students. Just listening to your students, I am reminded, I look after 11 schools, how important it is that our students feel supported, they feel believed in, they have somewhere to go when the stress gets too much. A really good reminder for us about the importance of social and emotional learning and skills, equally as important, if not as important, as academic skills and the growth that we see in our students. This is Belinda. Thanks. Great show, and a special shout out to all teachers. They really are angels.
Thank you so much for all of those voice notes. Doctor, I have to ask, what do you say to students who might come and complain and say, I feel like this teacher's out to get me? I think we've all had those experiences where like, why does this teacher not like me? But it actually has pretty much nothing to do with that. What do you say to students when they come to you with that complaint?
I think that the most important thing is that your office always has to be open for pupils to come in. And when a student does come in, and it does happen, because not everybody has the same day every day, and they complain about a teacher, we break it down and we listen to it. I like working with somebody knowing that there is transparency. So if the issue is something that is perhaps just the time, the moment, and it's going to pass, we try to unpack it, we try to move forward, and always offer support. Sometimes I need to go to that teacher and say, listen, I know perhaps you have good intentions about being hard on this pupil, but at the moment this pupil is going through a difficult time. Let's reach out, just take the pupil under your wing. And I want to applaud the person who said that teachers are kind. It's kindness, trust, and consistency that gets kids through difficult times.
And we also fully understand while having this conversation, there are teachers who are sitting with full classrooms, under-resourced, unsupported, be it in the public sector, in some instances in the private sector as well. So we take that into consideration. But I want to quickly take a moment while we've got these stellar students. Ngozika, from your side, what advice would you give to young people who maybe didn't do so well and want to try again?
My advice is honestly believe in yourself, and whenever you need help, ask for it, because you lose everything when you don't ask for help, and that could actually be the one stepping stone that gets you towards like your goal or what you're aiming for. So ask for help and set goals, and take it easy on yourself, because whatever you're going through in life, be it matric or another part of your personal life, just remember that you're your biggest critic and no one's putting as much pressure on you as you are yourself. So that's my advice to everyone.
Eleni, on your side, advice?
I very much agree with what Angel said. If you don't get the results that you expect, I don't believe that's failure. I think failure is when you quit. So when you get your results and you feel like it's not the very best you could have done, don't label yourself as a failure. And even if you didn't, don't feel like you failed. It's only failure once you quit. So keep going. Ask for help. It's human. We are all human. We can all use some help sometimes.
Yes.
So definitely don't give up. Keep pushing yourself. And the more you push yourself, the better the outcome will be and the prouder you will feel of yourself.
Anthea?
I think all of us have heard this a lot. I say like a mark doesn't define who you are.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, you just need to carry on, have perseverance, motivate yourself to carry on. And even like you can ask for help. You must stay motivated and always push to the best of your abilities. And also like if you're rewriting matric this year or like whatever happened, you must always stay motivated to do your best, no matter what it is.
I must say, Doctor, you must be exceptionally proud to have these stellar students. And I'm pretty sure there are people listening who are like, I'm not in matric, but I heard what they said and it resonated. Thank you so much for all of you. And for those that want to register for Saheti, what is the website?
www.saheti.co.za.
And there we go. That is our parenting and parents feature for today. It's just after 2:30, time for latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. Police have opened a case of culpable homicide following the fatal Scholar Transport crash that has claimed the lives of 13 learners in Vanderbijl Park in the south of Johannesburg. A minibus taxi transporting learners was struck by a side tipper truck this morning, causing it to veer off the road. Investigators confirmed that both the minibus taxi driver and the driver of the side tipper truck are under investigation, though no arrests have been made at this stage. President Cyril Ramaphosa will today visit the flood-stricken Mpumalanga province to assess the extent of damage after heavy rains resulted in widespread flooding. 20 people have died in the floods and more than 1,500 homes have been damaged, with thousands of families destitute. A number of roads and bridges have also been affected. And the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee investigating police corruption has rejected forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan's request to give evidence virtually. MPs have also slammed O'Sullivan for refusing to engage certain political parties like the EFF and the MK party when he does finally appear to give testimony. The committee took the decision today when it met to discuss its witness program and other housekeeping matters. Those are the headlines. This Eyewitness News and more at 3 o'clock or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, some good news in the Bedford View area. That accident seen on the N3 northbound before the Giluli's interchange has been cleared and traffic should be back to normal shortly. However, if you are leaving Edenville driving into Bedford View, we still have bumper traffic. This is on the R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Giluli's interchange. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Sunninghill at Rivonia and Witkoppen. Traffic lights also not working in Forest Town at Oxford and the M1. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
Are we partly at fault for turning a blind eye to when the Somali-owned spaza shops in the townships were the target of extortionism? Because had we dealt with it then, some would argue we would not have the massive problem that we have right now.
Well, firstly, we're assuming that the Somali shop owners came forward and identified who was extorting them and were willing to set the prerequisite trap or operation where somebody then comes in, extorts, gets paid.
Aldred declared.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Are you looking for the best spectacle and sunglass deal? With Specsavers buy one, get one offer, you get great value for money. Get a free pair of branded single vision prescription sunglasses up to 3,300 Rand when you purchase a comprehensive eye examination and spectacle frames with lenses on your first pair. The best part? Choose from top brands like Police, Hugo, Under Armour, Tommy Hilfiger, Red Bull Spect, and more. Affordable eye care? Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
And the award for the spiciest stunt performed in a bowl goes to Tom Yum Cruise.
Thank you everyone. Wow, what an honor. I'd like to thank the chilies, the lemongrass, and of course, Simply Asia for believing in my flavor.
It's the summer of stars at Simply Asia. Stand a chance to win a Toyota Starlet when you spend 200 Rand or more on our famous flavors. Order now. Simply Asia, connecting the Thaiway.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
Well, one of the key figures in part of the Steinhoff fraud, now being sentenced to 5 years in jail for signing an invoice for 376 million Rand that he knew was fake. Are there any bigger fish than he who are still alive?
Yeah, I mean, essentially there's Stian Grobler, who was the company secretary for a while, and he's going to court soon. He's probably the biggest fish left. The finance director, Ben Lachranji, who's already serving a 5-year term for particular fraud.
Rob Rose is the author of Steinhoff.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB. That's how we're invested in your story. Your story matters. ABSA is a registered FSP. Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. with John Perlman. Happy Monday, John. What's coming up on your show today?
Yeah, very good afternoon to Relebogile. I mean, a terribly, terribly sad start to the day with this news coming out of the Vanderbijl Park area about, I think it's now 13 learners who have been killed in their scholar transport involved in an accident, and the accident scene is still being processed. It's a heart-rending situation. We're going to talk to Mongezi Koko, who is our reporter who's out there. But coincidentally, the South African Human Rights Commission has just finished an investigation into scholar transport in Northwest Province. So we'll look at that as well. I'm not sure if any of the insights connect directly to what happened today, but it is striking that these two things have happened on the same day. Senzo Mayiwa murder trial back underway. Khomotso Modise will be covering that for us. Still ructions and rumbles coming out of Iran participating in the naval exercises we held down in Cape Town. Parliamentarians now getting somewhat exercised themselves and saying something needs to be done about it. We'll talk to Lindsay Dentlinger. Why is there much that parliamentarians can do? I'm never sure that they can get something done in the higher levels of government quite as quickly as they would like. But we'll talk about that at about 20 minutes past 3. And then an absolutely dire situation in the town of Knysna, where they are talking about running out of water completely in the water system in 10 days. Not shortages of water, not throttling of water, no water in the system. It really is a parlous situation, and it's been building and taking shape over about 20 years, where they knew there were problems, no one did anything about it. And when you look at the list, by the way, of Knysna mayors, they seem to have one every few months, which can't have helped. But we'll talk about that in more detail at 10 to 5. If you happen to be listening down in Knysna and you want to call in, please do give us your take on 011-883-0702.
I saw Gift of the Givers was also trying to give out like 100,000 litres, and they were showing pictures of, and I thought to myself exactly what you said. If we knew that there was a problem 20 years ago, why did it need to get to, we have 10 days left of water for something to be done about it? So we definitely will be tuning in for that one. 702 Drive with John Perlman coming up from 3 to 6 p.m.
702.
The Naked Scientist.
Time for The Naked Scientist with Dr. Chris Smith. Your science-related questions on 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 0727021702. Happy Monday, Doctor. How are you doing?
And happy Monday to you as well. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. A little bit anxious. There's a lot going on. There's so much going on, as you can hear in some of our news, but hopefully things will start to take shape and sort themselves out. I'm going to jump straight into our questions that are coming through for you, all of our science-related questions. MD Maila says, Doctor, what causes an ill cow that is unable to wake up just after drinking homemade alcohol to recover and ultimately be able to walk? Oh. So
what causes a what? Did they say a cow?
Okay, let me reread it. What causes an ill cow that is unable to wake up just after drinking homemade alcohol? So that's your mkomboti, our traditional beer. And then ultimately he's able to walk.
Wow.
Well, you're like, I've never heard of this.
I'm slightly sceptical about saying things that a vet should really comment on. I can't really explain that, to be perfectly honest, unless the cow was very dehydrated and that by getting some beer, because the low alcohol concentrations in low alcohol beers, because most homemade beers are not that strong, they're not brewed to be incredibly strong, so actually there is a net hydrating effect from drinking the beer. If you were lost in the desert and you staggered on a crate of beer, you'd probably benefit from drinking the beer rather than dehydrating from thirst. If you found a bottle of wine, if you drank the wine, you would definitely hasten your demise, because beer is lower in alcohol concentration and therefore will have a net hydrating effect. It's possible perhaps the cow got rehydrated and that was part of it, or maybe the beer was just so awful that the cow was given a dose of smelling salts like effect. You know, when they used to wave ammonia salts under people's noses. Maybe it was just such a vile batch of beer that the cow said, do you know what, I was thinking about dying, but actually this is worse, so I'm going to get up and walk off before they can give me any more of this stuff.
Oh, okay, there's a question here, and I'm not sure how to ask it because it is so detailed. Nelson Williams from Sedgefield, please, I advise you to go and consult your physician. But in essence, they're saying that due to financial circumstances, they stopped taking their medication for diabetes for 4 months. Now they're telling their blood sugar level, which is 25.6, saying, is there supposed to be change to my meds and what should they do? Other than go visit your physician, please. But what happens in a situation like this, doctor, where a person stops taking their diabetes medication for a period and now maybe they're in a position to return to it?
Hello, Nelson. Look, he doesn't say what sort of diabetes he's talking about. And the word diabetes, it actually comes from Greek and it means a siphon, because it was a term that was coined by the anatomist Thomas Willis to describe the fact that people who have diabetes wee a lot, but there are lots of different forms. There's diabetes insipidus, there's also diabetes mellitus, and the mellitus form is the form that's to do with sugar. We'll assume he's referring to the latter, but there are drugs you can take in both cases. So that's why we can't just assume, and I'm going to put one of them to one side, but if you have type 1 diabetes, you need to take insulin every single day. And the reason for this is that you can't make any insulin yourself because the immune system has damaged the pancreas and robbed you of the ability to make your own insulin. Without your own insulin, this is a lethal condition. And I don't think months would go by without any of the insulin. It would just not be survivable. So therefore we'll assume that what's going on here is type 2 diabetes, which we used to call maturity onset diabetes, but type 2 diabetes or non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. And in this case, this is where the body makes insulin, but the amount of insulin being made is not sufficient to control blood sugar. In fact, people can make enormous amounts of insulin, but it's still not enough. And it's usually associated with being insulin insensitive, which is associated with carrying too much weight, although not exclusively. And we do see people, as you get older, some people who are not overweight still become type 2 diabetic because they can't make enough insulin to control their blood sugar. If people in this position stop taking insulin, or if they are on insulin, some have to use it, or more likely other drugs to help to control blood sugar. This can include drugs called sulfonylureas that help the pancreas to make more insulin, or drugs called metformins, which can help the body to use blood sugar and deploy blood sugar to where it needs to be better. If you stop taking those agents, then blood sugar can climb. And you can run a very high blood sugar. Now, it doesn't say what that number is in relation to that was just cited, whether that was a blood sugar measurement. I certainly hope not, because it would be high, but it's not impossible. Or it's what we call an HbA1c. If it's HbA1c, which is the amount of sugar stuck to your haemoglobin, that would be quite a low number. So it doesn't say which it is. But if it is blood sugar and you're running a very high blood sugar chronically, it's going to do two things. It's going to rob you of calories. It's going to rob you of a lot of water and put you at risk of dehydration. And it's going to put you at risk of infection, because if you have high levels of urinary sugar, then you are more likely to get urine infection and so on. And running a high blood sugar puts you at risk of all kinds of infections, including sepsis and that kind of thing. And this is very bad for your blood vessels. It's very bad for your nerves. It's very bad for your kidneys, very bad for your eyes. So I would strongly urge you, do not do this. Please do seek some advice and support and try and find a way to control the diabetes. And please don't just stop medication suddenly like this, because it can have very serious consequences. So do try, please, to get some support and get some help and get assessed to make sure that nothing untoward is happening here.
And Nelson, please make use of public facilities. You're able to get medication. Yes, it is a mission. You're going to queue at the clinic for quite a while, but please don't take that kind of risk with your life, and wishing you all of the best. Andrew from Hammanskraal, go ahead.
Chris, hello. I read in a magazine that some of the astronauts who walked on the moon, like Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and the others, came back and were no longer emotionally available to their wives. Is there any evidence to that effect, that maybe they were affected by walking on the moon?
So no longer emotionally available to their wives. Oh, doctor.
I hadn't heard that, but then I don't know those individuals, and I haven't spoken to them or asked them or heard from anyone who has asked them that. But I'm not disputing what you're saying, because there are reports that people who have spent a lot of time doing these sorts of extremely exceptional things did find their lives changed by it. And if you think about what those people had to go through, it really was one giant leap. Because last week we heard how an astronaut on the International Space Station, for some reason, and we still don't know what it was taken ill, and the entire crew were evacuated from the ISS and brought back to Earth. They splashed down in the Pacific. They were near San Diego. They went ashore. They were all fine. But they could be brought back. Those people in those early days of the space missions were on a one-way trip. And if that one-way trip didn't end at the Earth, there was no coming back. There was no plan B. There was no way to escape. And if something went catastrophically wrong, you could not be recovered. And so it took profound bravery. It almost certainly caused enormous stress. And it was life-defining and life-changing, because if you think you're the first person ever to set foot on something that's been there in the sky for about 4.5 billion years, and no one has ever been there, and you're the first footstep there, and you're seeing these things for the first time. You're seeing our planet from outer space for the first time. You are doing things that single numbers of people on Earth have ever been able to do. And this, if this doesn't change you in some way or have a profound effect on you, then there's something wrong with you, I would say. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if what you're saying, when these people came home and found that it was hard to become normal again, because you see this in a lower grade sort of way on Earth. I mean, even things as vague as politics. Politicians who've run countries find it very hard to do normal jobs afterwards, because they find that they've got so addicted almost to the stress and the cutting edge that normal life, and what most of us would describe as horrendously busy, they find extremely mundane. And so I suspect there may well be some element of this, that people came back changed because of the experience they had, and that may have made it hard for them to relate to people who haven't had that same experience.
That is, it makes complete sense, because also how do you start to share about something that you literally cannot explain. We're going to take a break. Your science-related questions, 011 883 0702 in the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
There's a new way to experience all your favorites. Pulse Africa, the 24/7 fast channel, now live on PrimeMediaPlus.com and the Prime Media Plus app, bringing you the best of Prime Media around the clock. Watch the biggest moments from 7:02. It's non-stop entertainment and authentic African storytelling, all from Africa's leading media network. Pulse Africa, only on the PrimeMediaPlus.com and Prime Media Plus app.
Matric class of 2025, ready to spread your wings. South African Airways makes your uni journey easier with all-inclusive one-way fares from Johannesburg to Durban from 690 Rand, from Johannesburg to Gqeberha from 655 Rand, and from Johannesburg to Cape Town from 1,144 Rand. Plus, pack more of what you need with 2 checked bags instead of 1. On sale until the 12th of February. Travel by 12 Feb 2026. Book now at flysaa.com. T's and C's apply.
To live wealthier, you need to be able to grow your assets. At Standard Bank Private, you get a team of internationally acclaimed financial experts to advise you on local and global investment strategies. Plus, being with a leader in home loans, you can start expanding your property portfolio. So, come live wealthier with Africa's best private bank. Apply online at standardbank.co.za. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Are you one of our loyal listeners? Did you tune in over the holidays while we were off recharging? What did you think and how did you experience it all? We'd love to hear from you. Simply send us your feedback to contact@702.co.za, or better still, you can do it in person. Come visit us this week. This Friday, the 23rd, we'll be hosting another 702 visits at lunchtime. And we'll take you on a tour of our lovely building and show you our studios. So to book your seat, simply send us an email to contact@702.co.za. We'd love to meet you and connect with you.
702.
The Naked Scientist.
6 minutes to 3 o'clock as we wrap up with our Naked Scientist feature with Dr. Chris Smith, 011 883 0702, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We are going to, and there's so many questions that are coming out now. Hi, doctor. When do we worry about cholesterol levels, and when do we use atorvastatin instead of simvastatin? Dimakazo in Boxburg.
Okay, well, I'll do this quickly so we get to as many of those questions as possible. Cholesterols are one element of what we call blood lipids, the fats that go around in the bloodstream. And the reason we worry about cholesterol is because if the level is high, and specifically one form of cholesterol called LDL, or low-density lipoprotein cholesterol, this is associated with more rapid progression of arterial disease, thickening and stiffening of arteries, and the build-up of blockages in arteries that can cause problems like heart attacks and strokes. The lower your LDL cholesterol is, the lower your likelihood of that happening. And a statin is a drug which blocks the body's ability to make cholesterol. They inhibit an enzyme called HMG-CoA reductase, which stops the ability of your cells in your body producing cholesterol, and if you can't produce as much cholesterol, the level in the blood has to fall. But there's another form of cholesterol called HDL, or high density lipoprotein cholesterol, which is very good. And the higher the level of that cholesterol, the lower your likelihood of a vascular problem. So a doctor won't just measure your total cholesterol level. What they'll do is measure your cholesterol, and then they'll look at the individual levels of HDL and LDL, and if the ratio of HDL to LDL is not regarded as a healthy one, then a statin might help. And if you have a level of cholesterol which is slightly over the acceptable level, you might start with a drug like simvastatin, but atorvastatin is currently the gold standard. It's the one that we use to deal with people who've got artery problems. You can have quite high doses of that, and it very effectively lowers blood cholesterol, but it is more expensive. And so the solution comes down to what works best for the person. Everyone's different, all drugs are different, and all drugs work differently in different people. So sometimes you have to try something and you arrive at what gives you the best outcome with the fewest costs and the fewest side effects. So it's always worth a conversation with the doctor and regard this as a long-term thing, that you try things gently to improve a situation rather than hope for an all-or-one solution all at once.
All right, thank you so much. Joseph in Johannesburg, go ahead.
Hi, Relebogile Josephine. Hi, Dr. Chris.
Yes, go ahead.
My question is, there's so much of talk and information about our soils on which we grow our veggies and fruits are overexploited. There's little or not much nutrition left. So my question is, how high is the nutrition density in our veggies and fruits if there's nothing much in the soil?
Good question. Doctor?
Hi, Joseph. Well, you're right that soils across the world are becoming depleted, and the rate-limiting substance is nitrogen and phosphorus. And it's not that your plants might become depleted so much, that the yields will go down. The more of those substances there are in abundance, the better the growing conditions, the higher the yields from the food crops. That's not totally true, because there can be some soils where if you grow certain things, they will become short of certain minerals. Vitamin A, for example, can be present in very low levels in certain plants grown in certain places. And other minerals as well, selenium and so on. If the soil doesn't have much of it, you will have crops that have less of it. But really, phosphorus is the big one, that we are running out of phosphorus, and the reason we've been able to grow in an intensive way the yields that we have is because of nitrogen and potash and phosphorus fertilizers. And as we run short of phosphorus and we're not putting that back into the soil, then we're going to see yields come down. We're also losing soil because the farming techniques that enabled us to generate these amazing yields with deep ploughing and that kind of thing, it turns out are very destructive to soil, very destructive to the integrity of the soil, and they lead to dramatic soil erosion all around the world, and tons and tons of soil are blown away, and every time the soil is blown away it is not replaced, because it takes years to build a centimetre of soil, it takes a season to blow it away. And so people everywhere are looking at more sustainable forms of agriculture where we don't lose soil in this way, we don't deplete the soil so much in this way, and we use other ways and other rules of nature to try to reinforce our ability to grow crops.
We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Joseph, for that brilliant question. Dr. Chris Smith, back together next week.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer, or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand, and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
For over 30 years, Bid Air Cargo has kept South Africa's supply chains moving, giving our economy the dedicated cargo capacity it needs. Whether it's oversized, hazardous, or just really, really urgent, when a shipment has to fly, we make sure there's space.
linking all major airports with reliable freighter services. Our promise delivers. Bid-Air Cargo. Every kilo counts. Proudly backed by Bidvest.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
New details emerge in deadly Vanderbijl Park Scholar transport crash, and President Ramaphosa arrived